Hey folks, my name is Adriano. I'm a software engineer here at Boardazero, and today I'm really excited to introduce Boardazero's enhanced support for Kubernetes. Kubernetes has been the talk of the town for quite some time now, and organizations are increasingly moving their workloads to Kubernetes. Kubernetes is great, but clusters tend to grow in complexity over time as well as in the number of people who interact with them. This is where Boardazero comes in. With Boardazero, managing access to Kubernetes clusters becomes easy and secure. Whether you manage one cluster or many, Boardazero provides clear visibility and control over who can do what, ensuring that only the right people have the right access. Let's look at some of Boardazero's features more in depth and see how it simplifies Kubernetes access management. For starters, putting your Kubernetes cluster behind Boardazero means that only users who can log in with your organization's identity provider will have access to the cluster. Here, you can see how easy it is for me to authenticate against my organization's identity provider, which happens to be Google, and then proceed to set my kubeconfig for a specific cluster, and then perform some operations against it. In addition, every single event that your users perform against your Kubernetes cluster is recorded and instantly available for review in the Boardazero admin portal. Each event is logged with a timestamp, the Kubernetes namespace, verb, resource type, resource name, and the result of the operation. You can also configure custom storage for session logs if you prefer to manage them yourself internally. Aside from the request log, kubectl exec requests are recorded in ASCII-NUMA format, which can be replayed as video, text, or be fed directly into your company's SIEM solution. Note how in the request log, pod exec requests have a replay icon, which I can click to navigate to the video replay page and see exactly what commands were executed in the pod. Boardazero has a simple yet rich policy language, which allows you to define what Kubernetes operations can be performed against what specific resources and by who. Let's walk through building a policy together. I want users and groups mentioned in this policy to be able to list and get namespaces, list and get pods, deployments, and services in the default namespace, and I want them to be able to exec into pods in the default namespace that start with the pod name Alpine. That was easy. Boardazero also supports just-in-time or zero-standing privilege type workflows. Users can request access to the desired Kubernetes clusters, and administrators can determine whether to grant or deny the request. They can also grant the request, but limit access to specific actions and resources, just like we did earlier with policies. Note how as soon as this Kubernetes cluster request is approved, the user can connect to the cluster as they would if they had long-lived access. Just as quickly as access was granted, access can be revoked, with active sessions being immediately terminated. In my terminal here, I'm going to be making requests to get pods over my Boardazero Kubernetes service. As soon as I revoke my temporary access, my request should begin to fail. And that is all for today, folks. In this video, we went over some of the features of Boardazero for Kubernetes, such as adding SSO to your cluster, detailed session logs and video recordings, policy-based access controls, and zero-standing privilege flows. This is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of Boardazero's features. I should mention, testing the integration between your Kubernetes environments and Boardazero does not prevent your engineers from continuing business as usual, so you've got nothing to lose. Get started with their free community edition today. Navigate to boardazero.com and click on the large yellow sign up button on the top right of the page. Thank you for watching.